Cycle 2, Day 10 entrance card. So, a couple of concepts to remind yourselves on. So, first, solving equation. You need to do BEDMAS backwards to do this, meaning I need to try to get x by itself. So, x is to one side and numbers to the other. I'm going to start by, let's say, moving the negative 3 to the other side. In order to do that, I'm going to add 3 to both sides, because what I do to one side, I need to do to the other. So I get x plus 2. At this point, I want to collect all the x's to one side. So I'm going to subtract x to both sides. So I get x is equal to 2. Simple as that. Question B. Negative 5x minus 7 equals 3x plus 1. Again, I'm going to try to put my numbers to one side and variables to the other. I'm going to, let's say, take the 7, the negative 7, to put it to the other side by adding 7 to both sides. Because how do I get rid of negative 7? Well, the opposite of minusing 7 is adding 7. So if negative 5 is equal to 3x plus 8. Next, I'm going to get x's to one side. I have already the x by itself on the left, so it's going to be easiest to move the 3x over. So I'm going to do that by subtracting 3x to both sides, and I get negative 8x equals 8. Last step. I want to get x by itself, but it is being multiplied to a negative 8. I'm going to divide by negative 8, and x is equal to negative 1. It's a good practice to have one equal sign per line, put a therefore statement at the end, and it helps to either square or highlight your final answer. Question 2. So each angle is measured to be 171 degrees, and how many sides does this polygon have? So I'm going to assume that you already know this equation where it's n minus 2 times 180, where 180 represents the number of triangles you can make with any n-sided polygon. And if you subtract that by 2, that actually gives you the total sum of angles in n polygon. So as a quick recap, if I have a three-sided triangle, a triangle, so that has n equals 3. If you plug that in, you're going to get 3 minus 2 times 180, which is 1 times 180, and therefore 180 degrees. If you had a square, if I had a square, and you have 4 sides, you would do 4 minus 2, which is 2 times 180, and you get 360. So see how this equation works for those common kind of shapes that we're familiar with. All right, so that's a huge quick recap. And so this time they're saying that if I have this total sum of angles in an n polygon, each angle is going to equal 171. Well, my idea is if I divide this by n, that's going to give me how much each angle is going to be if I divide this by n. And so then I can make now this equal to 171 degrees. And focus on this side of the equation and try to solve for n. So we need to cross multiply to make this happen, which is a strategy we use when we have a monomial equals monomial. 171 equals 180 times n minus 2. I'm going to do distributive property, and I get 171 equals 180 minus 360. At this point, I want to move the 180n to the other side, so I have all my variables to one side, and I get negative 9n equals negative 360. Final step, divide both by negative 9, and n is equal to 40, not degrees, but 40 sides. So therefore, there are 40 sides to this polygon. Question 3. So in this